3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and here is today's comic, 7 Days, by Gail Simone and Jose Luis. This is a Catalyst Prime universe by Lionforge, which has recently merged with Oni. I don't know how this all works. It's really kind of confusing to me. So, I normally probably wouldn't review this book. Let me give you a little backstory of why I'm reviewing this book. So I watched Zack, our boy Zack, Diversity in Comics, now Comics Matter. I don't know why he changed his name. Anyways, I still watch his show from time to time. He's starting to come back a little bit. He was man, when he changed his name to Comics Matter, he lost his touch. But he's starting to regain some of his old inertia. And he did a video on 7 Days. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And it's Gail Simone. I was thinking about it. But what hooked me was he said that this was the greatest superhero comic on the stands. And I was like, whoa, that's hyperbolic. And it's Gail Simone? No way. So as I watched the video, and he lavished praise on this book. And, it wasn't just a clickbait title. He genuinely thought this was the best book. And then he went on, I believe, to say, if I remember correctly, back in the day when he started doing the early videos, he said books like White Knight and so forth were the best books. And he's like, this is better than all of them. And I was like, whoa, slow your roll, buddy. What's going on? So I was like, I got to get this book. I gotta see for myself. I gotta make a Zack is wrong video. That's my disclaimer here. That's my transparency of what my motive was for doing this book, was to be like, Zack is wrong. So, here we go. This is who made the book. Here's where we start. Is it possible for an entire world to suffer PTSD? I have to admit, that was kind of a good opening line. It was a good, in the world of writing prose, novels, taking some writing classes, and one of the things you hear about a lot is how to open your book. Starting that first line is crucial. This was a good line. Now, this planet. This little bothered me here. It's like you can't draw planet Earth. Oh, jeez. Come on, dogs. You can't draw planet Earth. This is literally you just Googled the planet and then went in and scribbled stuff to color in. So it looked like looked like a drawing. But when you zoom in here, you can tell this is photo. It's just, come on. You can't even draw a sphere. It's a full page. Foresight Headquarters, Chiapas, Mexico. Lorena Payan, CEO of the largest tech research company in the world, non-enhanced. I don't understand. Let's backtrack a moment then, Dr. Scarlet. Do you know who I am? Everyone knows who you are. You're Lorena, CEO of Foresight. You're only the most famous woman in the world. You're the guardian angel of science devs everywhere. Yes. And is there something else, perhaps? Well, there's a lot of whispers, dark web gossip. Is there? Well, that you own world leaders and that your enemies keep ending up MIA. It's all nonsense, right? Doctor, I think for the sake of urgency in this particular matter, it would be best if you simply assume that each of those nasty rumors is completely true. I think that would save a great deal of time, don't you? Dr. Janina Scarlet, you have an unusually specialized field of study, max proximity psychosis, the study of clusters of people responding to trauma and merely the line of sight witnessing of trauma. 2 years ago, our very survival was threatened by the Icarus asteroid. I funded and devised a plan to send 5 brave astronauts to destroy it. Those that survived returned as carriers, Dr. Scarlet. They were worldwide heroes, but they were infected, or enhanced, some would say. I have no background in enhanced humans, Miss Pye. I think a mistake has been made. I'd like to go home, please. Doctor, sit down. I have brought you here for a reason, Doctor. Whole swaths of civilization nearly lost their minds when they thought doomsday was coming. Watching cities get erased by fire from the sky tends to do that. So I ask you, what will happen to the world, to the psychology of humankind, if it happens again? Now, I'm no, I'm no scientist, and I'm definitely no medical doctor. I'm definitely no psychologist. And I haven't done any Google, but I'm calling shenanigans on this max proximity psychosis field of study. Sounds like what she's describing is actually sociology, but like I said, that's my guess, and I'm going to go Google it and learn that I'm wrong, I'm sure. But that's the premise of the book. This is what I just read to you. And the reason I read the opening of the comic book like this is because this is the writer's chance to hook you. This is your opening of whether this sounds interesting or not sounds interesting. Now, I got to be honest. It's not the best dialogue I've ever read, but for Gail Simone, I was reading her Hot Shots books. This is top tier for Gail Simone. This was shockingly good for Gail Simone. So basically what's going to happen is, there was a mass event that they talk about. People got all triggered and scared by it, and it's going to happen again. But now the world has enhanced people. So this doctor, she doesn't want any part. She's like, I just need to go be with my family. And the CEO says, no, come, doctor. I think you need to see what landed on our doorstep yesterday. Doctor, I give you what we're calling an obsidian man. It fell from above, here of all places. It scorched the earth, turned the sand into solid glass. And we think it might be alive. So this was kind of another hook. You get the first 2 pages setting up the story. And then, boom, we go right into the next couple pages, and it's this obsidian man. What the hell is this? So she asks exactly that. The response is difficult to say, but it's covered in the same material found in the original meteor attack 2 years ago. They talk about how they've tried to drill into it with diamond drills and their most powerful lasers, and they can't even scratch it. Anyways, there's something going on here in Dallas that's going to be the crux of the story. So that's what this little intern comes in at the end. We have disturbing information from the States. And I do have to call a little bit of shenanigans here in the beginning. The largest tech research company in the world is a Mexican company. Bullshit. Whatever, it's comics. So they found that there's another totem in Texas. So what's that mean? We don't know. We fast forward to Dallas, Texas, and we get this woman, and she's doing exactly what I'm doing right now, talking. I'm talking to a tablet. She's talking to a phone, but she's got a YouTube channel. And at first I was like, oh, how quaint. And then I was like, well, sign of the times. Like this. Speaking of sign of the times, we got the dog deciding to drink. You can't get on camera this time, buddy. It's all digital. So your shenanigans are up. He doesn't care. He thinks he's a YouTube star. So this is something that is a sign. So many people do YouTube videos or do social media and stuff like that, that I kind of had to just bite my tongue to myself and just be like, nope, Ash, it's 2019. Stop living in the 90s. This is how our society is. It makes sense. So she's got a roommate, and at first you're going to think, oh, well, they're instantly lesbians, but they're not. And that was kind of appreciative. And so they're talking about her YouTube channel or whatever, and she just wants to be like Lois Lane, I guess, or whatever. So there's something going on, and she gets a call from her big YouTube influence. It has so many more views than her, and she wants to be, and she's like, oh, you want to go report on this thing that's happening in Dallas where you live? And so they go. Meanwhile, Travis Fort, Texas, got a guy driving a Ferrari, looks like, some sports car. Police after him. Do you have any idea how fast you were going, sir? Well, at a guess, I don't know. 130, 140. Cop's like, would you step out of the car? And they have this conversation. He's like, do I have permission to search your vehicle? He's like, sure. And he finds all these guns in the back. And this guy's like fully cooperating. It's really weird. He doesn't give you any sort of sense that he's like has any malcontent or, he's just, he's just real nice. Cop sees a gun, calls in for backup. And then all of a sudden, Speedster runs by. This is a Excel, Daniel Dos Santos. Of course, he's got to be ethnic. Gamer, retail worker, enhanced human, speed demon. Okay, I'm gonna stop something right here. If you had the powers of this guy, you would not be a retail worker. No one who could do this stuff would be like, yeah, I'm still gonna just do my retail work for minimum wage job. No. I think the world would be a drastically different place, especially for enhanced people, if they existed. But whatever. It's just he stops by and he's like, hey guys, everything good here? Officer's got his hand on his gun. Everything's fine, kid. I'm fine, so keep on running you here. This isn't your business. Yeah? Maybe the kid wasn't talking to you, officer. Pulling your piece on me, really? On me? For making sure no one gets a beatdown? Just gotta say, you better have a quickness. And meanwhile, the guy who's getting arrested, he's like, hey, guys, let's not get volatile. I'm being arrested, and I'm the calmest one here. Which I thought was like, it's kind of weird. I'm wondering who this guy is. Anyways, so the Speedster XL's is like, oh yeah, well, cool. Well, sorry, I'll be on my way now. It takes off. Meanwhile, then we go back to David Powell, a.k.a. Noble, astronaut, hero to the world, enhanced human, telekinetic powerhouse. This is kind of a tired trope to introduce characters, but it's an effective one in a case like this where someone like me who doesn't know the Catalyst world, I'm reading this book, I don't know who these characters are. Boom. I know their names. I know kind of what their little power set is. I don't need to have several pages of stuff setting that up. I can get right into the action. Anyways, he's holding his girlfriend, I guess, who's, she's empowered, but she still likes to be held by her man. I don't know how that works, but, then they show up in Dallas, and there's another girl here, Valentina Resnick Baker, a.k.a. Summit, astronaut, engineer, enhanced human, living plasma cannon. I gotta go back here. So his girlfriend, Astrid Allen Powell, former bodyguard to Lorena Payan, former special agent, no enhancements. She doesn't need them. You go, girl. You not only do you not need the male physique, you don't even need enhancements because you're a woman. Yeah, go, girl. Snap. So then Excel shows up, and it's kind of like reminded me of Young Justice, how characters just sort of all come together. But they kind of felt called. At least there was an explanation that Bendis didn't do in his Young Justice book. And so there's something going on. These heroes are here. They were the original ones that saved the day. And then we get the little YouTuber girl. And you fast forward. It's the Obsidian Man, one of the Obsidian Man. So this must be the totem. They're calling them totems, I guess. What is it? I could see it even from a distance. Their ease, their confidence. But when you can outrun bullets or split a tank in half, that's probably a pretty natural response. And the crowd, we felt it too. Everything was going to be all right. Now that they were here. And I thought that was pretty cool. I liked how that writing, it made me feel like these were heroes and that the world saw them as heroes, and it instilled ease. It's kind of like the Justice League showing up, because I don't know who these guys are, from Adams. But we go to the next page. We were wrong. Then it's got to write it in Spanish. Corrido Dios en el cielo. I lived in Southern California my life. I can't do Spanish. We were so wrong. You feel it, Val? Hey, I feel it too. It feels just like the effect of the first meteors. Ow! Damn, son, that thing bit me. What? No, it hasn't moved. Let me see, kid. And he's bleeding. You weren't anywhere near its mouth. Lady, do you not see the bigger problem? How does anything get the drop on me? Because they didn't even see it move. So I thought that was a cool little bit too. And we go back to the stupid corporation I can't remember the name of. And they have this hand. They call it the hand. It's some alien thing. They don't know what it is. And shit starts going down and there's a meteor attack. Not attack, but the disaster is happening all over again. But this time the heroes are there. They're trying to save lives. And we got little YouTuber girl. And she's reporting. And this was a cool scene, actually. This noble character I really liked. He's got, I don't know if it's a power or not, but it came across like it was a power. When he talks to people, they just sort of feel like, yeah, I should do what he says. Like he's got the power of inspiration, super charisma, like if you will, and he's telling people, listen to me. I've seen this. I know the hell that comes with it. Would you help this man if he was your brother? Because he is. Only people with something to sell you tell any different. The only way we get through this is if every damn person on this rock is your family. Do you hear me? Now go. Because the people are all panicking and leaving. And this girl, she reports, it should have been corny. I assure you, it wasn't. He believed. He made us all believe. Familia. Camellia, are you okay? And that was it. That was the moment where I stopped thinking about myself for once in my selfish life. And she comes up, wait, how can I help? And he responds, you know what to do. Look in your heart. And then we see, magnificent. This is going to go viral. The whole world is watching. I guess the whole world's watching YouTube. I don't know. But anyways, and we come to see there's 3 of these things. And they're like, what? Those things, plural? Yes, plural brings mortality in this case. And now they can move. And they start to see on the back of the corporation there's landings all over the world. And this is sort of like I don't want to say, it's like your stereotypical alien invasion type thing. If you've seen like ID4, aka Independence Day, any of those types of things all over the world, it's that sort of thing. And see Lagos, Nigeria, New Orleans, Louisiana, London, England. And then, of course, they're showing off their superheroes like Quincredible. God, what a dumb name. Keno is in England, I guess. Cosmosis is in Youngstown, Ohio. And Fort Leavenworth. I don't think they put women and men together at Fort Leavenworth. I know about the equality thing, but that's. And of course, all the men are like, ah! But the girl's just like, stand strong. I'm not afraid. Last chance, Gas. There's too many, boss. We can't save them all. No, but we can damn well try. I love you, Astrid. And he attacks one of the obsidian men and just gets destroyed. And then the narration is, and just like that, all hope, all the confidence broke like a mallet through a glass table. The greatest hero we have, dead in minutes. No, 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 no. He didn't even make a dent. Oh, my baby, please don't go again. And everyone's shocked and horrified. And we had no time to grieve because the thing started to talk. Well, maybe that's not the right word. Everyone understood, no matter what language they spoke. They heard it in English and in Spanish at the same time somehow. Natives, I am elsewhere, but I may speak through the forms of my servants. I'm afraid this won't be pleasant, and I have other tasks to attend to, so I'll be brief. I am Krellin. I have watched you for ages, many ages. I have come for your everything. There will be no peace, no diplomacy, no negotiations. You will cease to be. But Krellin is not without mercy. And then you start to see a little piece of his face exposed. You have 7 days. Day 1. And that's the end of the book. And it's a really good pitch. I read this and I was like, all right, I can see why Zack liked this. This is a good book. But let's rein it in, Zack. This was good on 4-star level here, right? Good, really good, solid book. Solid recommend. It had some tension. It had me caring about these characters. It has a plot that makes me want to know more. The art is, passable, especially for, a bottom tier independent publisher to get art that's this is better than 50% of Marvel Comics these days. So, the fact that they can do this, I'm satisfied. I don't really expect more from a company like Lion Forge. So they pulled out all the stops. They really tried to put out a good product. Gail Simone had a few cringy things. I couldn't really help but notice there's very few white people in the book, which is important to say because it takes place a majority parts in America, which is majority white. But this little thing blurb in the back that they have, this afterwards, kind of explains it. I'll just read a portion of it. When you look at the history of superhero comics, there have always been more supermen than Wonder Women. And long before Black Panther became a widely recognized cultural moment, generations of children of color searched the spinner racks for their heroes. They searched for something to aspire towards, something they could relate to. All this may seem well covered in conversation and debate through pop culture these days, but this was not always the case. When Milestone Media arrived in the early 1990s, many of us had our first introduction to what we didn't know we had been looking for in our monthly reading. This was something new, something different, something that was not only looked like many of us, but for the first time was created by a group who did so not out of opportunity, but of necessity. No. It did it out of racism. Okay? I can read Black Panther and identify with Black Panther because he's a human being and I'm a human being. He has a different melanin count. He is born in a different country that has different cultural things, most of which are fictional because that country is fictional. But I can identify with him as a character. I can identify with him probably as well as any black person in America can identify with him. Because guess what? The only thing that they have in common with Black Panther that I don't is melanin count. Black Panther didn't grow up in the hood. He didn't grow up, getting treated a certain way in America because of his skin color. He's a foreigner to Americans of all colors. There's this idea that, we need to have people of different colors, this diversity, so that children can have heroes they can look to. If you can't enjoy characters or relate to characters that aren't your race and skin color, then it's probably because you're a racist. No one expects anyone of Northern European background to only be able to relate to white characters. That would be racist. This is racist. No one wants to call it what it is because, social politics of today. My oppression. The marginalization. Bullshit. The United States is one of the freest countries in the world. It is a bastion of equality and opportunity. Is it perfect? No, especially these days. We just had a president, that did 8 years in office, who did more to divide America racially than anyone in my lifetime. And I'm almost half a century old now. So I'm kind of bummed that they wrote this at the back of this book, because to be honest, the comic inside that I read, while it did have some of the tropes that I'm used to, with the ultra diversity, like, you look at these superheroes, they're of course perfectly diverse, when they go up in space. I'm looking for that picture. Where did it go? Anyways, they had, here it is. Look at this. Of course, perfect diversity. It only happens in comic books. And of course, the CEO of the biggest tech company in the world isn't a white nerd boy like the real world, where every tech company, is some white nerdy dude who liked computers and then formed a tech company. No, of course, here it's Mexico, which is practically a third world country. It's nonsense. It's diversity for the sake of virtue signaling, but they didn't actually do anything overt in this book, right? It just is what it is, and I kind of groaned when I saw it, and I was like, whatever, because the characters just behaved like characters. They were there to serve the story. The story was good. I was really enjoying it. Like I said, I cringed a few points because I just know our culture and I could sort of sense these things, but it wasn't because the book was preaching them to me. There was nothing offensive really about this book at all. There was no social justice politics. This was all about heroism. This character Noble here is a guy that I was like, dude, this is a really good superhero analog character. I love this idea that when he talks, people are inspired to do what he says. It was really well done. And Gail Simone, I've never read anything close to this good by Gail Simone. I mean, this night and day. I can't even believe this is the same writer. I almost feel like she paid someone to write this. I can't believe it. So yeah, Zack was both right and wrong. I think Zack was way over impressed and gave this hyperbolic statement of just like, oh my God, I've had the same kind of feeling I did. And was just like, this is the greatest. It's like, whoa, reel it in, Zack. Reel it in. Okay, it's good. This is a 4-star good. This afterword here, which is 2 pages, should have never been here because it soured the taste. I didn't need you to preach to me about your racist social agenda. I didn't need it. Just have good stories of good characters. These were good characters, right? Now you tell me, oh, well, they're there because of, we needed to preach. Oh, no, shut up. No, you didn't. I didn't care of the skin color of any of these people. I only cared about the CEO because it didn't fit. She could have been, if she was a CEO of like Google and she was hired because she was badass, and she happened to be of, Hispanic origin, that'd been fine. It just doesn't make sense that it's a Mexican company just because of the geopolitical stage and how countries and the economics of different countries and blah, blah. I'm not going to bore you on that. You know what I mean. I think anyone with an honest, free-thinking mind understands what I'm saying. So, yeah, it's a good book, though. Thumbs up. Check it out. This day 1, each issue apparently is going to be a day. So 7 issues, 7 days. If it delivers on this beginning, it'll be solid. And, you might get exposed to a new shared universe that's not DC or Marvel. And that could be a good thing. If Lion Forge lets go of this social agenda shit, otherwise it's just going to be the same as DC and Marvel. You could be a standout. You could do what Valiant was doing before it decided to go off the deep end with the social agenda. In 2012 through 2018, Valiant was doing the best comics on the shelves. And then they sold to a Chinese investment company, hired a bunch of, leftist weirdos, including Milkshake Queen herself, Heather Ontos, and now look at it. It's a 180 degree flip flop. It's crazy. Yeah, it's the same thing that kind of happened when Heather got hired at Marvel. Weird. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. It's probably longer than it should have been. Hopefully it was something informative and entertaining, and you liked hearing the sound of my voice. I'll try to do better. Thanks for watching.